Hi guys, Anthony here. Welcome to the channel. I'm your host and your content creator for Aquascaping on the Fly, Living Art Creations. What have I got for you today? All right, a little consignment shop find. This, of course, would normally be like a hurricane lamp for a candle. What I love about this is it's super thick and it has this great base with a bevel on it. And I thought, okay, when I saw it, I kind of thought, okay, I think I know what I'm going to do with this. And we're going to be using some wood, of course, that I've got in nature. A couple of these pieces I've already glued together because I kind of have an idea, a theme I'm going for. And then we have a mystery item that fits in this box. So here's your clue. It can go like this, but what we do with it, who knows? Now, today's theme is going to be cinematic. If you're familiar with the channel, you know it was coming because I do everything in odd numbers if you pay attention to the channel like that. So I've done Kong, and I did Snow White, and we're doing another one today. Today's is let me give you a clue, a mega hit series of movies, which means more than 3. And there's a element of mystery and magic to it. Okay, if you don't get that, there's something wrong with y'all out there. So anyway, I want to give a shout out before we get into this to Angel's Attic. Now, of course, you guys remember I'm in Texas. I'm in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. This was, I found this place in Grapevine, Texas. And when I went in, I actually found 5 pieces in this store. It was beautifully done, really nice upscale consignment where they've got everything organized and everything's clean under the proper lighting. I mean, so you can really get a really good idea really, really fast when you go into a store like that. So that part I love about it as well. And I spotted this right away because of its height, because of the height of that and our mystery item. And it wasn't until I had looked around and saw some things and I started putting them up on the counter, and this was actually 40% off. So all my items, all 5 of my items were 40% off. So I didn't pay over $7 for anything. And so that's kind of, my sweet spot now. When I did the series, if you've looked on there, the Thrift Flip Terrarium series, my budget for that was $3. So I've doubled my budget going into a consignment store, and I found a lot of really cool stuff. This one was the first one I wanted to do because it's finding this piece, this vessel, meant I could use this piece in the box. And of course, I'm always going to focus on wood that I find in nature, my rocks that I find in nature. I may use some moss. I need to go out scavenging for some moss to use in here as well. I won't know until I start to get into it and kind of get the feel for how the build is going. But one of the things I love about it is the height. So I think this was like right at 17.25 or 17.5 inches tall, which is kind of usually you don't see them this large. You see it much smaller and very thin. I like this because it's really heavy. It's nice thick glass. So that part, I love that. But when I was up there talking, the ladies were, helping me choose some items, and I only put 1 item back. So I had 6 originally. And I explained to them that I have a YouTube channel where I focus a lot on DIY and upcycling and recycling and how to do builds on an extreme budget. And I said, you know what, I'll give you guys a shout out on my video. And they were just like super excited. And they said, oh, thank you. We would love the exposure. We're actually a charity. And said nothing like that anywhere in the store. But she said, we not only provide charity funds for other charities in Texas, but worldwide. And I was just like blown away because before I became a flight attendant, I worked with charities, and I know how hard it is to come up with the funding to get services for people that are in dire need of it. And so that just spoke to my heart. And I thought, okay, this was really fate for me to show up here. So I know that all my subscribers right now, there's 62 2 of you, I believe. So thank you for that. This could be going into one of your communities because I know where you all are. I get little demographics from YouTube and they tell me I've got my viewers are all over the world. And I love that. And I want to piggyback on that right now. So a lot of times I'm always saying like likes, comments, please subscribe if you like the content because it really will help push the video out there. My channel is just 3 months old. So YouTube doesn't really know where to put me yet as far as the audience that really needs to see these videos. So it's kind of like a hit and miss process right now until I'm a tested channel because new channels, it's just very difficult for the algorithm to figure out where to put you. So the comments I read and I respond to. And I have been loving a theme that has been developing with the comments. We are really, truly creating here a community in the channel. I'm getting such great feedback from you guys that are getting something out of the video that is relevant to what you're doing. So that part is amazing to me. I love the fact that we are communicating together as a group. So please keep the comments up. And if you do, like and subscribe because subscribing tells YouTube, hey, I want to see more of this. And liking says, oh my God, this is a great video. And comments tell the algorithm, here's a moderator that's interacting with his audience. And that's like the trifecta for YouTube. So anyway, there's my shameless plug for the channel. But for today, I'm going to get this cleaned up because it hasn't been cleaned yet and kind of get organized and see how it's going to fit with either this section of wood that I chose or I have another set that is my backup. Oh, did you guys hear that? That's one dead gnat. So those of you who have been watching this series about Kong, the fireplace off to my left, I had to dismantle it because I lost the battle with the gnats. So the bug zapper has been removed out of Kong and it's now sitting in the studio. So it's hopefully going to be collecting the gnats that are just flying around that are awake because all the lights are on now. So the one thing I can tell you, it's so much easier now. There's not gnats everywhere like it was before. But I was very, very upset when I had to take apart Kong because it was my first build. I loved it. I thought it was incredible. Now what I'm going towards is a like desert oasis because I'm so scared of having gnats again. I'm going in the opposite direction. And so I'm working on a waterfall and a rock area that I can put some plants in to give it a completely different look and keep it low maintenance. Because you guys know when I go on a trip, no one's here for 2 to 3 days and then I come back. So I can't have something that has to have continence maintenance constantly like that. But the cost that we're talking about today, so we got $7 here. I think I'm going to be able to use the light on another terrarium that can join with this one. So we may not even have to purchase a light for this. And then the plants, you guys, if you don't know it, I'm growing my own plants in my own tubs from mother plants. So we're talking maybe a quarter to 50 cents per plant. So we're talking definitely under $10. If we have to add a light to it, that'll bring it up to $20. So that gets you up to speed. Let me get organized, give you a hot second, and then we'll get into the demographics of the build. So stay tuned. Okay, so I know you can't see me, that's okay, but are you ready for the reveal? All right, here we go. Voila! Did anyone see this coming? Of course, if you're a fan of the channel, you know I'm not gonna do something traditional. So of course I'm going to lay it on its side. And when I first saw this jar or hurricane lantern, this is exactly what I thought I wanted to do with it. I wanted to lay it on its side and do something that you just usually do not see. Almost everyone's just going to stand it up and build a terrarium in it, which would be a great terrarium because it's a space-saving terrarium because it's got the height. Now, I need it because we still have not revealed what's in the box. But you are a step closer. So let me tell you what I did here. And now, yes, this is 2 pieces of wood that I found in really super early on when I started doing my nature walks. And I have loved these. Now, I did clean them. And originally, I did seal these with super glue just because I did not know what I was going to be doing with it at the time. And I thought, okay, it's going to be a cool way to achieve the color I want because it's how you're going to get this color. Now, this structure would not stand on its own without the weight of the glass. So I played around with this. I flipped it back and forth and it just would not sit still and level unless I put the heavy side right here, which I wanted on this end, and then put this the other side like this. But anyway, this is how it worked out. But this is one piece here, and this is a second piece here, which originally I wanted to put these in an aquarium and stand this piece up, and I called it my shark because it really looked like a shark fin coming through the water. And I thought, okay, that would be amazing. But I had to do like a combination here. So I did hot glue first to adhere the bottom here to it, taped it all up, and then applied more glue on the ends of the two ends here, and then let that cure. And then once that was cured, then I applied even a little bit more glue, a glass to wood glue that would really hold the structure together. Now I want to see it from this angle because I love how this piece here has broken off and this piece here. By the way, I didn't break these pieces off. This is how I found this. But I want you guys to know that this is a versatile piece here. It can go either way. And so what I envision is being able to put this like on a bar or a console to where you can see it from both sides. So we are definitely going to have to go with a light that just is a freestanding that would be above it. Because I had thought about putting one of my light strips in it, primarily at the bottom, and then let the light flood up. But I thought, oh, okay, that's going to be horrible because if I'm in here and I'm watching television and I'm looking down at it, it's always going to be blinding me. So I decided, okay, no. I love the fact that we have this beautiful contrasting color. And let me flip it around again because I think this is the prettier side for you guys to see. So especially in what I called my shark fin, you got this beautiful blending of colors here where it's eroded away. Fortunately, it had enough of a piece sitting here that the lantern is attached here in the middle, which is the hardest part because this is actually a hollow section, and I had to fill that up with hot glue. And then it's attached here as well. Now, I do want to be able to access this from both sides. Yes, I think it'll be amazing. I'm thinking eventually this would be a great item to have like a cork stopper for the ends. But you know, you guys know me, I'm not going to do that right away. I'm just going to put saran wrap like I do on all my terrariums with a rubber band and hold it until I decide if it's working and how I want it to look. So at this stage, the next thing I need to do is to really work out how much of this substrate do I need to like glue in like some rocks. Of course, my growth period here is going to be right here in this curve, and then it's just going to fade out to the ends. And how I'm going to bring in the mystery piece that you don't know about yet. So for the part that I'm going to be working that out, we're going to speed the video up, and then I'll just do a voiceover for that. I'm going to give it one more cleaning because I see a little section here that needs to be touched. Make sure it's completely clean before I start putting anything on the inside. But this is what we've got so far. I'm loving it. The other wood that I had shot the opening scene for the video, it was just too lightweight. It looked gorgeous with it, but I needed bulkier pieces to be able for it to stand up on its own like this is and to elevate it. And I'm really happy about this. When I eyeball it, it looks level. It may be off tilt just a little bit, but I tried to compensate for that. And so I believe it is level. I can't tell because it's all curved. There's no place to put a level on it. But I hope you guys like it. Let's get on with the rest of the build. Okay, so what we're doing here is, oh, and by the way, thanks to one of the subscribers suggested I get a microphone. It was a lot easier with a microphone. There's not so much echo. I just have to be, cognizant of the fact that I do get excited, and sometimes I, get louder because I'm excited about something. So I'll just have to monitor that. But what I'm doing here is I'm really just trying to figure out. I know I want to put the plantings really just in the middle, and so I put the drainage layer. No, I did not put a barrier down. It's so little there that I feel like, okay, it's really not going to be that big of a deal. And also I didn't want it to be seen. I'm going for a real specific aesthetic here. One thing I did notice, especially at the very end of the video, sometimes the terrarium looks tilted to where it's not level. It sits two ways right now. It tilts forwards and it tilts back. It automatically wants to tilt forward, and really at that point it really looks skewed, like it is not level at all. And it's just like it's some kind of a weird optical illusion what's happening there. So when I display it, I'm going to have to put some felt pads under it to make sure it stays up in its more upright position, to keep it, nice and level. What what I was doing there is I had went on a nature run and found some bark right after a storm that had fallen off of a tree. So I've got two different types. I've got this really limey green color, and then I have some nice emerald green. And because I'm going for the Forbidden Forest look, that's behind the school itself, I decided to go with these little strips of bark that have the darker green on it to just like give you the idea that this is the forest floor, because we're going for um, just really a forest look. And so what I'm using are four pieces of fern that were one fern, and that whenever I had it soaking in the hydrogen peroxide water solution, I was pulling it apart. So I thought, okay, let me pull it apart, spread it out across the build so that it looks a little more uniform. And by the way, if you guys don't know about the hydrogen peroxide, it's 1 part hydrogen peroxide to 4 parts water. And what it does is that way, if there's any bugs or anything in the soil or the roots or on the plant itself, you can, just soak it in it for a few minutes. I think I left mine in there for 15 minutes. And that way you can make sure that you're not going to bring any pests in. Hopefully, I mean, you're taking one other precaution. I know some channels that they'll use a bleach water system as well, but I like the hydrogen peroxide because it's easy, and it doesn't have the irritating smell sometimes that bleach does. Now, I've really only picked just little bitty cuttings off of plants I've already got. So that's how I can tell you that we can get by with really doing, if we're watching our budget and we're really want to engage into the hobby, this is how you're really going to be able to take care of that, is by growing your own mother plants. And I've said this on many of my videos, but I go to Home Depot, Walmart, and Lowe's. They sell the same brand. It's Coosa Farms. It's cheaper to get it inside the store than it is to order it or to go on Amazon. And I'll buy one plant and I'll divide it up, sometimes into 5 or more smaller plants, and then I put those in growth tubs and under humid conditions, and they do just fine under grow light. So I'm able to go in and just harvest what I need. For this particular build, though, I didn't want a whole lot of different, like whites and colors like that, because we're going for the forest, and pretty much everything is a darker green. I did do the red, and then also only one plant, one tiny little stem that has little specks of white on it, and that I picked up while I was on layover in San Diego. Um, and so I've been trying to get it into different types of terrariums to see how it's going to do best. I can say that the fern we're using today is rabbit's foot, and I have been using on my last builds, like 3 of them, I've been using a native Texas fern. And sometimes in some of them, it's not doing that well because I think it's too moist. because remember here in Texas we have droughts in the summertime, and so it's not strictly a terrarium is not going to be beneficial for maybe some of our plants. I have noticed that. Oh, and there's the reveal. There is the elder one. I have noticed that in some of my mosses that I get here in Texas do not do well in the terrariums at all. They ended up, some of them thrive and some of them just die out just because it's too moist for them. They're not used to all that moisture that we have right now. So I'm going to do a little cleanup, and then here we go. Now, see where I'm talking about? It looks tilted. That's because it's tilted forward. It needs to be tilted back so that it's a little more level. But here you can see the finished product. I'm loving the wood I went with. It's some of my favorite. I'm so glad. There's a park here that has a lot of that. You just got to find it where you can actually pull it up out of the ground because those roots are embedded really, really deeply. So I love the finished look of this. I'm going for that forest feel, and then sort of we're doing a nod to the sword and the stone, where the wand is actually attached to a rock. We know that from the last movie in the series where Harry Potter breaks the wand and throws it away. What we're showing here is the wand has mended itself. It's placed itself on a structure waiting for the next chosen one to take it and do whatever they're going to do with it. But that's kind of like the vibe that I am going for with this is that, I love a cinematic theme here. And so that's one of the things I thought was really kind of cool is, just going with it. So here's your overall look. I hope you guys like it. Remember, unless we're using a different light, this is about $10. And that's it because we've had everything else and we're growing all our plants. But it was a pure joy. And I'm so glad that I found the hurricane lamp because it fits the wand perfectly. And I'm so excited about that. So I hope you enjoy everything. Hit the like, subscribe, and send me a comment. Let me know what you like to see. If you guys have any ideas for another video, just give me a shout out. You guys have a great day. Bye bye.